Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Girl Let's Fix This podcast.
So last video, we talked about some questions that we were going to go back and forth with, talk a little bit about, and break down since we all get stuck in bad relationship patterns. So let's start. Katina, what is the craziest thing you've ever done because you thought someone was your soulmate?
Oh my gosh. I think honestly, the craziest thing I've ever done was celebrated their birthday for like the whole month. I did. And the funny thing is, back then, I thought that I had all this money and that I could just spend it, right? And so for the whole month, I was buying and concerts and trips and whatever you can think of, that's what I was doing. And it was now that I think about it, I was like, what was I thinking? To spend that. And it's not even about the money. It's just believing that that was it. There was nothing else. And the codependency that came along with that, because a lot of it was, yes, I wanted to spend the money, but a lot of it was also spending it to win the love back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. I think that is about the craziest thing that I've done. That I will not do again. No,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. So, I mean, you might get one good day for your birthday, but
yeah.
that's it. So, anyways, all right. Well, what about you? What red flags did you ignore that you would never ignore now?
Yeah. A lot. I think that I am such a fixer and people pleaser that kind of like what you just said, I always was trying to win the love, win the affection. And so I always thought I could fix everybody, and so like just the way that I allowed people to talk to me, talk down to me. Um, I don't think I've ever been in a relationship where my significant other has spoken life into me. Like I've always spoken life into them, but never received that in return. And it was always just almost like I was their mom instead
Hmm.
of their girlfriend or wife. And so I took that role on because I just wanted to be loved so bad that I was willing to forsake myself in the process of it instead of waiting to find the one that God has for me so that like it makes sense to be in a relationship, because relationships are hard and if both people aren't adding to each other, that means one's sucking the life out of the other one. So I've put up with a lot. I've put up with adultery. I've put up with drug use. I've
Yeah.
put up with being last to that person always, you know, um, them never wanting to spend money on me, but me spending every dime I had on them, wanting to make the relationship work so bad that I would pay for date nights. I would just overextend myself. And then at the end of the day, just be empty, lonely, and feeling this big, just like I did before I started the relationship. You know what I mean?
And isn't it funny how we have this common bond? How similar are the stories of just wanting to prove ourselves, wanting to be seen, wanting to be loved, and the extent that we go to just get an ounce of that,
Yeah.
which that ounce, when we get it, keeps us hanging on, right? And we're like, okay, it's working, it's happening. And the reality is, it's just they're giving us what they think we need in that moment. And then they go right back to their authentic selves. And here we are running after them, trying to, well, no, I'm still here. Hey, hello. And stuck on stupid isn't only with a significant other. It's also friendships. It's any
Yeah.
type of ship you decide to climb into.
Even with yourself.
Suddenly, yeah, suddenly, are you stuck on stupid? Are you attracting everything you don't want in your life? And that is what I find with a lot of sponsees or a lot of my friends. They're just, it's not only with the significant other, it funnels into their friendships, into their parent relationships. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, but where did it start?
Exactly.
Where did it start? Why
Childhood,
did
earlier.
exactly? Why am I running to prove myself to you to get your attention? What was lacking back then? And so, because it has to start somewhere, it doesn't just happen overnight.
No, and that's actually
Mhm.
the perfect segue into our next section, which is relationship patterns.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not. And it's this, it gives us an experience that we can share with others when we get the sense knocked into us,
Yeah,
you know. But until then, it's like running a marathon, an endless marathon, and you're constantly out of breath. You
just
can't
exhausted.
seem to win. Yeah, you can't seem to win for losing, you know? So, all right. So I have another question for you. Have you ever mistaken trauma bonding for love?
Yeah. I mean, I think like when I find somebody that's hurting in the same way that I'm hurting and we can like identify that with each other, it's like a false connection.
Okay.
I've only trauma bonded, I feel like. I don't think I've ever experienced like a love relationship that was healthy. Friendships now I have are healthy, but it's easy to get caught up in victim mode, woe is me, and all of that with somebody else and like bond like that. So yeah, I've definitely been there. I just am so glad that I've been learning not to do that anymore because again, it doesn't fill the void. You know what I mean? And then I'm just miserable. And now I'm just
Well,
complaining all the time and
yeah.
ungrateful.
Yeah, and what happens is we get in chameleon mode.
Yeah.
We just become what they want us to be, or what we think they want us to be, not
Hmm.
even what they want us to be. Because I have seen relationships to where the girl is everything that she thinks her man wants, and he's like, not really.
Could care
Because
less.
yeah, he could care
Yeah.
really care less. There's no challenge there. What are you giving him to, we need to throw bones
Mm.
that have the aroma of this really good, steak
Yeah.
so they can come running after us. If we're just here, eat the whole steak, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna, it gets boring.
Yeah.
It gets boring. And
Yeah.
there's that aspect of black and white. We're thinking most men are black and white. The ones that I've
Oh,
encountered.
yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not really time for gray. So, that you either are or you aren't. And so it if you don't, that's what I found with me. If I wasn't challenging, he would look elsewhere for challenges. You know what I'm saying? So hence, then you get all the hoopla that goes along with that. So it's really important to be authentic, to be your true self.
Yeah.
But you cannot be your true self if you don't know who that is,
Mm.
And
Yeah.
again, it's almost like we have to backpedal back to our inner child and take a look at that
Yeah.
and really say, well, how was it when we were growing up? And I'm going to tell you, I had a phenomenal childhood. Those were like I would probably say from 10 and younger were my best years. the best. I have such good memories. And then somewhere along the line, I kind of veered off and started and just wanted to prove myself, and when once you start climbing that ladder, it's game over
Game
because
over.
that's all
Yeah.
you know how to do,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
So then going into relationship patterns, let's go a little deeper. And so why do we keep choosing the same type of person? Where does that stem from?
I think, for me, I was safe.
Yeah.
I was safe with that same person. I knew what to expect. I didn't like it, but I knew I knew the reaction
Not
and I
knowing the future was more scary than staying in what you were in. Yeah.
that's it. It's almost like when we come into the rooms, what keeps us from coming into the rooms? We feel safe in our addiction because we know
We
what
know it.
that's it. We
Yeah.
know how we have to run, we know what we have to do, we know how we feel.
Yep.
But now when we're coming in, when we finally get to that last leg and we say, I'm done,
Yeah.
and we come into detox,
Yeah.
scared to death. And we act out and, we're rebellious and we don't want to hear it. But that's all fear-based, right?
All
Because
fear-based.
there's so much unknown in the
Yeah.
future. There's so much unknown. And so that is why I think we tend to repeat our patterns. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to break off because if you don't change it with your significant other, or if you don't change it in your friendships, you're going to carry it into
Yeah.
that intimate relationship because the most intimate person, for the most part, is going to be your best friend, right?
Hmm.
And if you're acting the way with your best friend, you're going to carry that in every other relationship.
Yeah.
If it's not equal, and it doesn't flow, it's yes, there should be that challenge of, well, how can I want to make you happy, not for you to love me, but because it's who I am and what I want to do. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
I love you and want
That's
to
it.
pour into you. Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Just like
And
just like our relationship with Jesus, right?
yeah,
It's like the obedience thing. When you come to him and he, oh, I'm gonna cry. And he changes your whole life around.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I want to be obedient to him. I want to know his word. I want to know what he wants of me because I'm just so grateful, right? That he's given me this second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th chances, to have a new life. It's the same
yeah,
thing. That's what a relationship is supposed to look like, you
yeah,
know, in any
yeah.
type of relationship.
And any type. And that's why
It's
the
not
examples of it,
self-centered, it's pouring into the other. And if
that's it.
everybody was worried about the other person all the time, it would flow the way that it's supposed to flow.
Exactly. In the book of Proverbs, there are so many scriptures on friendships, on
Yeah.
relationships, on parenthood, on all of it.
Yeah.
It's all there. You know what I'm saying? But how many of us read it?
Right.
How many of us know him?
Or
You
apply it.
know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've always loved God. And at 17, I gave my life to Christ. But it was almost like I gave it one day and took it back the next,
Right.
and I was running, and I've been running for quite a few years. But the reality is, now that I'm back, having the scales removed from my eyes, I
Yeah.
realize how much knowledge, how much wisdom scripture holds, and how many examples we have of everything we're going through in life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And I don't even know what the question was, and I veered off, I'm pretty sure, but that's
No,
okay.
we answered it. We answered it.
Yes. All right. So here you go. What excuses do women make to stay in unhealthy relationships?
Well, I think we kind of touched on a couple of them. The
Yeah.
comfortability of, because the fear of the unknown. Um, we're in therapy. He's getting better. He's doing a little bit more than he was before. He swears that he's going to change this time. So I'm just going to give him that chance. 8 years later, 9 years later.
Yeah.
Um, I just think that it goes back to not loving ourselves.
That's it.
Like, I really feel like I stayed in my relationship for so long because I just, over the last almost 9 years of my recovery, God willing, all the work that I've done on myself, like I hated myself. Like there was a lot of things I had to work through to get to a place where I could finally say this relationship is not healthy. I have to walk away and remove myself from this. Like it's not changing. And even if he's at a place to start changing now, all that wreckage that I've endured, I don't know that, like, I don't want to be in a relationship where I don't trust somebody.
Yeah.
I cannot go every day wondering what are they doing? What are they watching? Who are they talking to? You know what I mean? Like that is insanity. That is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Like why do I think that this is what God wants me to be in? Because the truth is it was stunting my relationship with God. I was having many, many blowouts with God where I was so angry with Him for allowing this when I'm finally doing the right thing. But the truth is, the first time adultery entered my marriage, I had the right to walk away. You know what I mean? And I kept choosing to stay in hopes that he would get better because I loved him. I did love him. I do love him, just not on that same level. And I don't even know if I know what love really is. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I know what that means because I've been in broken relationship after broken relationship. You know what I mean? But now I'm in a place in my recovery and in my walk with Yeshua where I'm just like, I don't want to be in any kind of relationship where it hinders my walk with you because it has. And I'm still struggling with getting my relationship back with him. There is still a barrier that I am working through with him because of all of that wreckage that I've allowed myself to endure because of being afraid to walk away because I still have a fear of the unknown, but also I'm finally coming to a place where like I love myself. Like I don't have to settle.
Yeah.
I'm okay being alone. I don't have to be with a man. I am okay. Yeshua, Jesus, has provided for me every step of the way. He has been my husband. He has been my best friend. He has been everything I've needed. And he doesn't just provide my like necessities, he has spoiled me since day one.
Yeah.
Since day one, he spoiled me. So for me, I just the work that I'm doing on myself is changing the outlook on what I want to allow in my life, you know?
And it's not, I don't think, I hear a lot, well, they don't serve me, so they're not going to be in my life. I don't like that because they're not there to serve you.
Right.
You're there to serve them. You know what I'm saying? In the sense, in the biblical sense. I'm
Right.
not saying, lay your life down for them, whatever. But we should never shun people because they're not pouring into us. We don't have to have them in our lives daily, but we should be able to pour into them no matter what they're giving us.
But
And
yes, but it's hard to pour into somebody that is
oh,
hurting
that
you
was on
on
a
a constant
general,
basis.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
on a general basis.
Okay.
I wasn't meaning in relationships. No, I'm definitely not, because there has to be boundaries, and it has to be a healthy atmosphere. It
Yeah.
cannot be bringing, because when that poison is coming in, no matter how much you're pouring into it, that poison is very loud. It's very loud. And we see it in other, I mean, at least for me,
Yeah.
90% of the examples that I have for my sponsees is from my sponsees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have all these relationships, but I have walked through with them and their relationships. And when God begins to remove the scales from your eyes, whether you're a believer or not, at some point you get an aha moment, right?
Yeah.
You come to realize, I don't want to be with this person because this is not the life I want for myself. It's
Right.
not I can't, it's I do not want this.
Yeah.
This is not what I want. And it's not about happiness as much as it is about the joy that is stolen every time you've got to deal with that adultery, with that relapse, with that, you know what I'm saying? Give them the space,
Yeah.
let them go. Allow God to change what he needs to change in them. And then you know as well as I do, if it is meant to be, you will be.
Yeah.
You will have the eyes to love him, the heart to feed him. You know what I'm saying? It will all be there. But until then, you're a barrier. You're standing in the way,
Yeah.
right? Because you're hanging on and not letting go. And maybe you don't know. Maybe it's a selfish reason. How am I going to live my life? I have no money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all these things factor in. So, yeah, it's crazy what we do.
It is crazy. Let's move into recovery and healing.
Yes, yes.
How did recovery change the way you date
Okay,
or
so
what you look for in a man or
yes,
significant other?
100% recovery. The 12 steps, working through them completely changed the vision.
Yeah.
My lens became so clear that I know what I have to offer.
Yeah.
And I know what I want in a man. And it's, the my wants, check the box off are very simple. It's not anything difficult. I always say, well, he's got to be established. Because I'm at that point in my life
Yeah.
where, to be with someone that's starting over, it's not going to suit
Yeah.
me, right? I mean, I don't want that. But knowing what I want and 99, well, let me be more gracious. 80% of the guys, I pretty much can chew and spit them out, right? Because they're carbon copies of each other.
Um,
What's unique about you? When I'm gonna date you, the first thing I'm gonna do is interview you. And I don't mean ask you a bunch of questions, but I'm gonna
Watch
observe.
you.
I have
Yeah.
learned to observe when you are in this situation, what's coming out of your mouth? Are you talking about everybody else? You know what I'm saying? Are you a gossiper? That's such a turnoff.
Do you
You
have an
know,
anger problem?
yeah. Do you work with your hands? Are you afraid to, So these are
Yeah.
things that I have learned because I know what I'm bringing to the table. I need to know what you're bringing to the table, but it's not going to happen on the first date. It's going to be a little bit of a process, but also I trust God.
Yeah.
I trust God. And, the minute I meet someone, that's the first thing I do is pray. Do I go further with this? Is this the person I should be talking to? And up until now, they have fizzled out, and there haven't been many. Since I've been in recovery, and I've got 18 years, there haven't been many, and I have been told that I'm very, very intimidating. So that's okay. Well, when you can handle that, we have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So,
But it's because you love yourself so much and you
Yeah,
know what you want and you don't have to be that chameleon anymore to make the guy like you. You don't shrink
that's it.
down because of that.
That's it.
You don't want to be with a man that can't handle your true authentic self.
That's it.
How
That's
awful
it.
of a
Yeah.
relationship would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, because I lived that. I lived that for so many years, whether it was through my parents or my friendships or whatever it was. It's like, just can't you just love me the way I am? You know? Lock, stock, and there's a lot. I have a lot, it's not I'm not a small package. I
Yeah,
got a lot, I come with a whole tribe. So so and there's that.
yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, all right. So, what do people think finding a relationship will fix? Why do people think finding their relationship would fix their loneliness?
Because they're trying to fill the God void.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we just end up in another toxic relationship because that's not what's going to fill that void.
What was the one thing that kept you in that relationship when things were starting to, what would lure you back? What's the one thing you keep telling me? I'm so proud of myself. I didn't give in to.
Sex
Yeah,
outside of marriage.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because I was in addiction for 18 years and the way that I thought I was being loved was in sexual situations. And so when I first came into recovery, that's the only way that I thought somebody would like me. You know what I mean? And so, as painful as my marriage was, I'm grateful for it because I was 1000% promiscuous. I probably would have slept with every man in recovery. So praise Jesus that what I got into this marriage because I took it seriously. My whole family, there's so many divorces, like, eh, or the marriages weren't good. You know what I mean? Like there was so much fighting and craziness. And I didn't want that. I from the beginning, since a little girl, I always swore that if I got married, I was going to stick it out to the end because my parents' divorce affected me a lot, and like as a kid, you just feel like it's your fault. They don't love you. Like it was, there's so many things were just overcoming me as a child and because of the divorce. And so I didn't want that. Like I wanted to do something different to break that cycle,
yeah,
and so now I'm in this marriage and it's just like what I watched my parents go through, and I don't know. It's hard.
yeah,
It's hard, because that marriage covenant is supposed to be forever.
yeah,
But there's a reason that adultery is one of the reasons you're allowed to break that covenant because
yeah,
there is something spiritual that happens between that covenant that breaks. And how can you live the rest of your life wondering, right? Like, and it's not fair for the other person either if they end up getting their life right, because anytime they're off a little bit, my first reaction is going to be, what are you doing behind my back?
yeah.
Right? And so now it's going to be constant accusations, constant questioning, and that's not good for the other person either, you
No,
know? So but I think I stayed in it because it was protecting me from doing something even worse. And I needed to be in that space long enough to learn how to love myself so that when I came out of the marriage, as I'm coming out of the marriage, I don't go right back to where I was before I got married,
yeah,
you know?
yep, yep,
So
100%. And
I'm
and seeing
grateful.
you, yeah, and seeing you go through that, um, and though I did not agree with why, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is it needed to be that
Yeah,
until you were ready not to, be running to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's out there,
right.
So,
Yeah.
and so Yeah. So have you ever prayed for someone God was trying to remove?
Yeah, I think my husband. I
Yeah.
think, I think that um I- you know,
I don't know why you don't have Bucks Kleenex next
I
to
know
you.
I do. It's over there. Because I'm coming up soon on my anniversary date, it always makes me reflect on my life, and I've been being asked to speak a lot, and that it just makes me like slow down and try to like see where I'm at today, right? And I think that I totally forgot what the question was.
Oh,
Anyway.
have you ever prayed for someone God was
Oh,
trying to remove?
yeah, I feel like because I put so much, I mean, I have gone to war spiritually for this man for years, on my knees for years for this man, praying and praying and praying and sacrificing and sacrificing and sacrificing. And there was a point where I was just like, the thought crossed my mind, what if all the work and sacrifice I put in some other girl gets if I leave him? Like she's going to get the better version of him,
Yeah.
you know? And I had to wrestle with that with God. And, if I had to come to a place where if that's what God used me for him, then that's you know what I mean? Like I'm going to get a crown for that in heaven. You know what I mean? And I know that God, I don't know, this it's just so hard because when you come from trauma and you come from brokenness and you come from addiction, you're just it's so hard to be like really selfless like that. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to accept that this whole marriage I've sacrificed, he's barely sacrificed, and now I'm walking away from it, and I feel like I earned it with all the work I put in, but trying to hold on to it, I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
He's not who I thought, first of all, he's not who I thought he was, because you know how we all put on the best part of ourselves when we first started
Well,
dating, right?
yeah.
But as soon as we got married, everything changed. Everything changed. He was not nice to me. Everything changed. But he was an addiction. You know what I mean? And I'm not nice when I'm an addiction either. So it's just I think we're
How did
so
you feel?
broken.
How did you feel when you were praying? Did you feel hopeful? Did you feel I'm wasting my time? Did you feel like um at the end of the road? You know what I'm saying? Like this is what am I supposed to do with this?
I think all of those things at different seasons of the marriage.
Okay.
I think that in the beginning, before he got to a place where he broke me completely, because I allowed him to, because he was my God instead of God, and I was
Yeah.
super codependent. I was like, I spent almost 2 years in prison, staying in the Word every single day, doing Bible studies with other girls. Like I was like this with Jesus. And so I had a pretty good foundation when I entered this relationship. And so at that point, I had so much faith. I had so much faith that God was going to change it, that God was going to shift it, because also I have my own testimony. He changed me. He took me out of addiction. He took me out of that crazy sexual lifestyle that I was in, the crazy chaos that I was in, and gave me a new life. So why wouldn't he do it for him too? You know what I
Right.
mean? But we all have free will. So, but I
Yeah.
think so that at that point I had strong faith, and then, I never thought he would cheat on me. I never thought in a million years he'd cheat on me. And then I kept finding out one after the other, after the other. I mean, even if it was pornography, OnlyFans, whatever it was, he was breaking covenant. You know what I mean? or even just lying about being high. That's breaking covenant too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
now that is the love of your life, not me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that goes first before him and me, and that's not the right order. You know what I'm saying? And so when it started happening over and over and over, I mean, like, I just recently moved out of a space where I didn't even want to pray for him anymore. He hurt me so many times that, I mean, I went through seasons where I'm just like, God, get him. Get him. You say your word says vengeance is mine. Get him.
Yeah.
And then I had to repent of that because he did get him. He did
Yeah.
get him. You know what I mean? He was so miserable. He threw himself in front of a truck and tried to commit suicide and was in a coma for 2 months. You know what I mean? And then I felt guilty for that. You know what I'm saying? And so then I started shifting my prayers again. And, it just like flowed depending on what was happening at the time, and now I'm just like, he, like when I see him, he's a broken little boy. He's a broken little boy. And like you said earlier, he needs time to be alone with Jesus because he's got to heal. He's not going to be able to be a man for any woman until
Yeah.
he heals the brokenness inside of himself that for the most part he's been unwilling to even admit he has. You know what I mean? And so I am doing him no service, constantly saving him, constantly enabling him, staying in his life, and not for nothing. It's like I'm his mother, and I don't want that. That's
Yeah.
like the worst feeling. I want him to love me as a wife, not for what I can do for him. Like I just, it's weird,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So, all right. So how about some rapid fire questions?
All right. What's one dating deal breaker?
Dating deal. Oh, you have to pay for the bill.
Isn't that crazy how many guys don't want to pay for the bill
Yeah.
anymore? I can't.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't.
not, yeah. No.
Yeah.
If you're taking me out, you're paying.
Yep. Okay,
All
so
right.
answer the blank. Healthy love is
God-centered.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Healthy
really
love
good.
is definitely God-centered.
Yeah.
What makes a man instantly attractive?
Now that I'm a little bit healthier, is love for God. Like
Yeah.
I am not settling next time. I'm not settling. He's got to be so in love with Yeshua. His actions have to match whatever's coming out of his mouth. Like no matter how much he loves me, he puts God first. Like
Yeah.
I need him to be so rooted in Jesus that he'll be able to lead me because I don't I want to be led. I want
Yeah.
to be able to feel like I'm safe, like my husband has me, like that he's gonna
Yes.
protect me, that
Yes.
he's gonna lead me closer to our Messiah. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be the one leading. I
Yeah.
need help too. It's exhausting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's not my
100%.
role.
Yeah. No, 100%. Okay, so what's a truth women don't want to hear about relationships?
I think it's when all of us outsiders can see all the red flags and they don't want to believe that they're there.
Yeah. I think I would say the answer to that would be they don't want to be proven wrong.
Mm.
There's some kind of ego embarrassment that goes along with that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I'm talking about him and I'm saying all these good things about him and I'm putting him on a pedestal and then boom, you know.
Yeah, yes, with some, but I also think it's we get so lonely,
Yeah.
and now we have somebody artificially filling that loneliness, and so we don't want to give it up because it's like a high. It's like a hit of dopamine for us. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so you see the red flags, but right now I feel good in this relationship. So I'm
Yeah.
not willing to walk away because I just spent however long waiting patiently for a man, and now one's come. And Satan isn't a he doesn't show up as a devil. He shows up as an angel of light, right? And
Yeah.
so it's so easy for him to trip us up because on the outside, the other person looks perfect, to
Yeah.
you, and you're so blinded because it's hard. We all want to just be loved. You know what I'm saying? But this time I'm listening to what everybody else is saying the next time I start dating, because if I even start, this has been such a wreckage that like I really like being alone. I like being alone today.
Yeah. Because we're never alone, right?
I'm never alone.
I never
He's
feel like I'm
always there.
alone. And my kids would come out of the room and tell me to stop talking to myself. And I'd be like, I'm not talking to myself.
Yeah.
I'm having conversation with God, like I am literally, and I'm constantly doing that, constantly.
But people that don't have that intimate relationship with him
Yeah, they
don't
just,
understand that.
right.
It's they don't get it.
Yeah.
Don't get it. All right,
So
closing question. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing about relationships, what would it be?
it's not about sex. It's
Mm,
not about the sex. Sex is something that has been added to, and it's an expression of your emotions, the physical expression of your emotions, but that is not what a relationship is based on.
yeah,
And I believed that for so long,
yeah.
for so long. And even now, sometimes I have a hard time shaking it, because we are such a outward society. What you see, how is that attractive? If you walk in and you are not the prettiest girl in the room, you're not the one they're gonna. And I
Yeah,
have seen this happen in situations where I'm getting pulled over by a cop, and so is this pretty little thing next to me. She gets away, and I get a ticket. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's like it's very real. That is very
yeah.
real. So yeah, that it's not about the sex. It's not about the physical aspect. That would be it. So
And I also feel like I just I just can't wait for eternity when all of the brokenness and trauma is just healed, because
yeah.
for me it's always feeling like I needed to be with a man or in a relationship. Like always feeling like I couldn't survive without one. That
Yeah.
like to give myself time to get to know me and love me and know what I like and what I want to do and what I don't want to do before jumping into one. Because
Yeah.
as a teenager, I just wanted to be in one so bad because everybody else around me was in a relationship. And that first relationship I got into took me down quick,
Yeah.
quick, because I hadn't had my relationship with God yet. And so they became my God, and whole hot mess. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. This was fun for sure. And I'm going to post some questions after we post this video. And we would love, love, love for you guys to interact with us. Ask us your questions. I'm going to post questions for you to answer, and let's just really start a conversation around all this because it's needed. We are all, this is my favorite. I love to say, we're all just hot messes trying to get it one day at a time. Like we need each other, and we just love you, and we want to help walk alongside you guys to bring you to where, God created you to be, to help you find your purpose and walk in it with your head held
Yeah.
high.
And if you're at a point, if you're stuck in a relationship that isn't growing you, but it's draining you, reach out to us.
Yeah,
Let's walk through it together.
yeah,
We have, the experience that we can share will become a strength
yeah,
and a hope for you out there that are, really struggling with all of this, really struggling with all of this because this is a truth. It is a reality. It is happening,
A lot.
and yeah, and it is society today. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, we're at a point where we're losing the human touch to a machine.
And social media.
Yeah, and people are posting the best of the best on social media and but what is really happening behind closed doors?
Yeah.
So we hope to hear from you guys. And we'll be back. And I don't know what our next topic is. Do you?
I don't.
Somewhere?
Yep, it's somewhere. I don't know what it is, but
It'll be something good.
it'll be something good.
Yes. All right. You want to close us out in prayer?
Sure. Oh, Abba, thank you so much that you never leave us in our mess.
Hmm.
Thank you for just giving us fellowship with each other. Thank you that there's always somebody that's walked through what we're walking through to come alongside us, to just be supportive, to maybe give us wisdom to how to get through it. Thank you that you're just so good. Like I just can't get past how you will leave the 99 for the one every
Yeah.
single time. Your love for us, we will never truly understand. And we just thank you for that. We thank you that you chase us relentlessly. And I just pray over every single person who watches this video that you just give them wisdom in whatever they're walking through. Give them boldness if they need to walk away from it. Surround them with the right people to help support them if they do walk away from it, if that's your will for them, and just give them clarity on what's happening. And I just pray that their relationship with you deepens so much that their whole dependence is turned to you instead of situations, circumstances, or other people. Only you know our future. You know where our life is leading and what we need to do in order to get there. So I just pray that everyone watching this turns to you, starts asking you questions, starts really leaning in, because your word says that if we knock, you're going to answer. So Abba, let them start knocking. Let them start seeking their true creator for the healthy answers. We love you, we praise you, and it's in your name, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Bye.